practice makes progress. And the more you practice on one specific thing, you're going to make more progress in that area. Doesn't mean that the other areas aren't going to make progress because you're still practicing them, but just from a different level.
So
and
true.
I think just being aware of that and actually accepting that too is something that I've personally had to do a lot, because it's like, let's go max out, but then I've also got to run 30Ks. I know what's going to be detrimental to the other.
But you could.
I could if I just roll one sleeve up.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Up at the hoodie.
Roll the bunny sleeves.
Full send. No, look, and you definitely could probably do that. It's like these guys, you see them, they run marathons and then go do
I say
100 kilo total. Like, what is that? What are you training? How do you train to that? You know? Do you specify one thing and then move to the other, or are they actually going, these are my goals, I've got to squat, deadlift and press, but I'm also going to run marathon at the same time? You know, that's kind of a different element altogether. But I guess long story short, that's kind of what they would have to be doing.
Yeah, they're freaks.
Yeah.
I'm not hybrid at all. Boys,
Chickity check.
Fellas.
Mikey mic'd up
This is a Mikey Mic'd Up podcast episode,
with Mikey Mike.
and we're here with two very good looking men, Jaden and Adam. Oh, and Andrew.
Andrew's here too.
as well.
Boys, I want to dive into something
Straight off the bat.
straight off the bat. We're going in.
See, rip the band-aid off.
I want to go into things that just aren't it.
Things that aren't it.
You know, like doing things that aren't it are on par with icks.
Yeah, it'd
The
be.
things that aren't it turn into ick.
I think multiple times you do it, it could very well turn into an ick. But you know, like something happens and you just go, that's just not it.
Okay.
Things that aren't it.
You're just not it.
You just move on.
Things that aren't it, boys. I feel like there's a lot of things that just not it, you know?
Being rude to wait staff.
That sucks.
Not it.
You're a shit
Never
person.
to anyone, I think. Good. Dependent. I know there's been, there's excuses for it, but definitely
Jaden's got
still time. Yeah, but he's got something.
Being called champ or buddy,
Yeah.
even tiger.
Oh, no.
Did we say pal as well?
Pal. Yeah, pal's
Pal
been
with like
shit.
the shove in the back.
Yeah, don't worry about it, pal.
Yeah.
Buddy fucks me, bro.
Pal.
What about you, mate? Anything that's not it in your heart?
Pants that touch the kneecap.
Or jorts.
Go. Yeah.
Shorts aren't it.
Shorts.
They're trying to come
pants.
back too.
Yeah, either touch the top of the knee or just below the kneecap. You're better off not having legs.
They're a bit shit, eh?
Right up there.
They are
Savage.
shit.
Building out a client's program for a 4 to 6 week block, and then they want to change it in the first week.
Oh, that is so
That is not it.
That
It's
is not
on.
it.
Tell me your goals, but make sure that it's actually what you want to work towards.
Rolling up sleeves on a hoodie.
Oh, I do have to touch on this. I did it after we spoke.
No, you didn't.
You can't.
But justification. I was washing the dishes, like I said.
Take the jumper off. I don't think you can even justify that. I feel like you just need to take off the jumper completely. They're not meant to be rolled.
Apologise. I didn't roll them. I just...
No, even that, you just can't. Either one, they
Okay,
can't.
fair
They got to
enough.
stay down.
Fair enough. What have we got? Smoking with the windows up. Smoking in general is pretty chat. But driving on the freeway,
Oh, you should
scrap that bad boy. Just a tiny little bit. You don't have to.
Basking in it, bro.
Sitting in it, eh?
Dutch baby. Dutch oven.
What happens when that person then gets out and goes like into the office or into their meeting or whatever? Like that would just
That
They just reek of it.
Yeah. Hopefully
They
just
are the cigarette.
work from home. Siggy butt brain.
slide in your shoes on, but the back caves in, and then you walk on your tippy toes.
Bro, that is borderline ick.
That's
like,
ick.
if you see like someone do that, I reckon that's borderline
Removal
ick.
from any premise.
You can only do that once and be like, that's not it. If you do that a second time, that's an ick hard, bro.
Okay, so yeah, you just take the socks off and just walk barefoot.
Yeah, 100%. Or you just got to take a little effort to put your shoe on properly.
You know what like falls on with mine with that? I haven't really technically seen it. I've only seen it on myself, and I was like, fuck that shit. That's never happened again. As a guy, if you only wear a t-shirt and if you wear like undies that are too short, that you only have the shirt on down to the legs. Bro, I've done that once accidentally in my mirror, and I was like, what the fuck?
Could you look sexy on a girl?
Super,
Bro.
Right. Having that set up with shants. Or like just these. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay, move on. What's the next one? Go for
All
it.
right.
Wind.
Yep. Yep.
Hate wind.
Just like wind in general.
Just hate it. You ever like? I'd rather run in the rain than the wind.
Wind is so shit. It doesn't serve like any fucking purpose for anything.
Unless you're
You can have like good days or bad
driving a
days.
sailboat,
Yes,
but we ain't doing that on land.
And it blows the leaves into the gym, which I hate.
It does.
And then I have to get my little.
your OCD just gets triggered to the.
Not it.
That's not it, eh?
Nah.
All right, I got one more.
Last one. Finish strong.
You know when like those guys drive like those big ass utes and they got like the big set of balls hanging off the back? I just don't reckon that's it. I don't think it's funny anymore.
Big ball.
I think one person did it.
Sack at the front.
I think one person did it and it was like, yeah, it's kind of funny. And then like people go out and actively buy a set of balls to put on their ute.
It's pretty fucking funny when you're driving behind it and they're just swaying.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's us.
I would like to know the stats on how many crashes are caused by looking at those.
But looking at those, the hairy balls hanging.
It's actually just stop.
Oh, a lot of things that aren't here, boys.
Kick it off. Kick it off.
Very funny. The actual focus of this episode, because it's pretty fucking cold at the moment, training in winter.
You two in your vest and jumper. And,
Yeah, I know.
Repping me fresh.
bro.
It's only because it's
Reason. Adam's the man with the boys.
He is the goat. And mouse.
Kids.
Mice.
How can we stay consistent with our training in winter, or how do you like to stay consistent with your training when winter comes?
Great question, Mr. Briggs. Great question.
I can look. It's
Mate,
very, very. Look, all of it is very simple and very straightforward. Training buddy, get yourself one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
Simple.
Good shout.
Yeah.
That's
simple
going to be
for me.
my number one thing. If you've got someone to train with, or someone to motivate you, push you, whatever that may be, you're on. And then the same thing though. Don't you just flake out, go get your partner, and you go, no, I'm not turning up. That is not it either.
That's not it either.
So
Get the partner, but actually do the work.
that's exactly right. Yeah. So I do have training buddies written there, but training buddies with the work.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's one of my top ones, and that's pretty straightforward. You can also gain a friend out of that too. So two benefits: winter, summer,
Massive.
spring, autumn, year-round friend.
Year-round friend.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I kicked it off with.
This might be a bit contradicting to what people think, but I actually think coming into winter, if it's such a problem for people to train, to lower the standards or the frequency at which they train at. People probably look at that and go, that sounds terrible because it's just a month or months and you can't control the season. But we just see it all the time. Like people just drop off because it's cold. People want to stay in bed. And they're originally following this 4 or 5 day week program and they're used to this frequency, and then they just stop, but they don't stop like kind of, they just stop completely. I'm like, why don't you like just have that little conversation with yourself and get to a point of, if you can't get there 5 days a week, if getting up every single morning for 5 days is not doable, just make a little contract with yourself or make a little negotiation. Be like, okay, well, if I get up at least 2 days of the week or 3 days of the week, I get two mornings to sleep in or 2 mornings to stay in bed and it's warm, but then I get to have 2 or 3 days. I personally like approaching it like that because something's better than nothing. And we can sit here and be like, we'll just fucking do it, which was actually one of my other points is like, just, it's hard.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, like just do it. But if that doesn't work and people don't do it, well, then you have to think of the next best thing, which when I look at it, I'm like, drop the frequency for a bit. Like go, even if it's into a maintenance phase or whatever you have to do. But I mean, you can still make great progress even if you drop the volume down, increase intensity, manipulate
Quality of
different things. Quality of quantity. And if you're getting there 3 times a week instead of nothing, like that's going to reap the rewards because you're talking about 3 months over winter.
Absolutely.
That's a long time to just like be inconsistent with training.
Yeah. And like, you'll regress. If you rest fucking 3 months and do nothing, you will regress.
1,000,000%.
But I say that as a kind of a joke, but like a lot of people will take like a week or 2 off and they kind of freak out and stress that atrophy is going to set in. I've lost all my size and all my strength. Like it's not going to happen over a 2-week period, 3. Maybe when you're going 4 weeks onwards of doing fucking nothing, that's when, start being worried about it.
I guess it all depends on how active you are too. Like if you're, for example, trading, working 10, 12-hour days, different scenarios. But if you're just sitting in an office doing not much at all, I think it is obviously necessary to get out and do something before or after work. And I think that's the perfect example is, set you 2 or 3 days a week and just make sure that you can either get to the gym in the morning or afternoon. And if it's not on Monday, Wednesday, Friday or whatever, just say 2 to 3 days a week and stick to that.
100%.
Don't pick a day. Just make it work.
So then you only have to negotiate with a couple of hard days rather than trying to negotiate with 5 hard days.
Yeah,
4 hard days. Like every day being hard. If you just have a couple of hard days, simplify.
And understand that it takes time to get results. And a lot of people are trying to look their best for summer. And everyone always says what you do in winter leads you to summer. And it's so fucking true. It really is. Like a good example, if you're like weight loss for a lot of people, especially coming into the warm months, is a big focus. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, say you're 100 kilos, you're trying to probably lose half kilo to a kilo per week, right?
Yeah.
As a healthy weight loss rate, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to actually achieve that. So if it was the perfect world and it was completely linear, which it never is, 10, 12 weeks that might take for you to lose like 10 kilos. That's in the perfect fucking world. That never happens, right? So allowing yourself the time, which if you look at the winter period, 3 months, 12 weeks, right? Factor that in. Use that time wisely to actually get yourself into a mad position before those warmer months come.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like it. That's actually what I've got too. I've got, you know, you can set yourself, I guess, 1, 2, 3 month goals, because obviously if they've got 3 months of each season, it doesn't even have to be winter. But I feel like if you're at the start of winter and you go, all right, I want to achieve something in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you know, it's like that old short, medium, long, even though 3 months isn't that long at all, but to try and set something maybe for the end of winter, you know, it just gets you on a good trajectory. So you can move into summer and you feel like you pretty much consistently just roll straight into it rather than going, oh shit, it's fucking October, I want to lose 10 kilos now. Like, it's just not feasible unless you just don't eat and then you go,
do some other stuff. Yeah.
do some other,
So you like, so you like compartmentalize it. I like it. Yeah, I similar to like all of those things tying in as well. My last point of it was just focus on things outside of training then. So like if it's getting to the point where following a program specifically is becoming too hard, which again, my rebuttal is just find the fucking gear and do it. But focus on things outside of training. So like walking, moving throughout the day, finding a different modality you can do. I mean, in the colder months, go for a walk and go out in the sun, walk along the beach or something. Like try and get more movement in around not training if getting to the gym itself is becoming too hard. Like you need to focus on just doing something.
Yeah.
It's that all or nothing that we see people fall into, and it just goes from, well, if I can't do everything that I was doing before, what's the point of doing anything at all? And it's such a bad way because you have to make up so much more ground. It's not it. It's absolutely 100% not it. Focus on trying to pick up a different hobby or some form of movement if you can, that's going to keep you going, keeping you motivated, keeping you on track.
Yeah, I like coming back to the why for sure. Like usually you should have a goal, but then you should have justifications to why you're doing that thing, right? Why you're trying to achieve it. So if the why is strong enough, I think when those periods of the year come in, when it is a little bit colder, or maybe even summer when it's too fucking hot as well, most people have something to complain about. So I think if the why is strong enough, like you just do exactly what Jaden said and just fucking roll up your sleeves, get in, get it done.
Unless it's a hoodie, bro. That's winter, the only time you can actually keep the fucking sleeves down, bro.
And I think like there's so many, like you said, summer it's too hot, winter it's too cold.
always
Like think about the positives in that side of things. Like for example, I'm on my little running journey at the moment. So much better to run in winter. Try and keep that heart rate under control when you're 10 to 15 degrees as opposed to 35 degrees trying to run. Don't try and keep your heart rate under control running up that hill at Erina in the middle of summer. It's just not happening.
Shit, yes.
So, and then on the flip side, like it is a little bit more comfortable to get up and do your heavy lifting and things like that in summer because you feel generally better. But just overall, you got to think about the positives and negatives of that whole training session as well.
Yeah. I like training in a hoodie.
Yeah.
I like going in the gym with a bit of a hoodie.
Winter
It's
fashion's
nice.
just-
Winter fashion's it too. See, that's the thing that people don't think about. Winter fashion is dope, bro.
That could be the reason you go to the gym.
Slay.
Dripped up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, both, man. You have to focus on controlling the controllables, and like you can't control the weather. You're never going to be able to control. Like if that happens to you every single year, you imagine you're leaving 3 months on the plate every single year for the rest of your life. You like total that up of how long that is versus someone who does keep consistent with training. That's a massive amount of time. And unfortunately, it takes a very, very long time to build something, and it's very quick to lose it. That's just the reality of how training works, unfortunately. So if you go all this work leading up to winter and then you go, bugger, it's too cold, and then sit for 3 months, I wouldn't say you go back to square one, but you go back quite a few paces if you try and come back into it coming into spring.
Actually, like for me, 3 training blocks, like 6-week blocks is 18 weeks done. Like, and that's another thing too. Just get 3 training blocks in. Yeah, 6 weeks at a time. Then there's 3 months of winter. That's done.
So I was going to say, be intentional with your time. You know, like break it down. It is 12 weeks. what can you do in that 12 weeks? Like, what is your training focus during that 12-week period that's then leading you to that warmer period?
How good's running in the winter months?
Yeah, so much better.
Yesterday was,
What time did you go yesterday?
I got up at 5:30, but it was flogging down.
What did you hit yesterday?
Oh,
22.
32 tomorrow. What day is it? Wednesday? Monday? Wednesday? Yeah.
your birthday, 2 days?
Got 32 on Wednesday.
Why 32?
Special day.
32.
Such a special little day.
I tried to say that I was 30 the other day, but my daughter said, no, you're 31. I told you. And I'm like, okay, you are 5.
I'm like
4.
I'm like low 30s.
Yeah. I'm just there. I'm here. Present.
I'd love to run 32 with you, but I'm not going to do that. So
just fucking do it.
Yeah, you literally just said before.
Yeah.
Just fucking do
just
it.
find the gear. Oh, so
Find some gear. Get yourself a new pair of shoes, like we were talking about before.
I'll get some knee slappers. I'll get some like
that, do we?
This is a really good shout by you, and I like where your head's at.
Second back in there.
Take us away.
I know it's not achievable for everybody to buy new things all the time, but you know, you buy something shiny and new. Say, for example, you buy a new pair of shoes. You're not just going to sit them in the corner and just stare at them, are you?
you can have a little taste.
Oh, you might have a little
spin the wheels a little bit.
Little touch.
What is that over there? Chuck them on. Bulls, go for a bit of a run. That's it. Pair of trackies, warm you up in the morning. Bulls, bit of a run. Jumper, vests.
Vest. Look at that.
Vest.
Imagine that.
Dress to impress. Go for it.
Vest and nothing else. That's that as a shirt.
Vest and undies. High undies.
Zipped up.
High undies, socks that
I
just
reckon
cover
that'd
the
be
ankle.
go running in just vest. Vest and little shorties.
That's sweat.
Confidence. No, it's confidence and it reeks it.
Yeah, it's
Shorties.
given desert ultra runner or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
With the speed dealers too.
Yeah.
You go speedies, vest, no shirt, just full chest out. Shorts, take your pick. Long socks, short socks.
Above.
Fresh shoes too, because you got fresh shoes on.
Absolutely.
People are going to be looking probably more at the shoes than
Yeah.
what they are the vest.
Exactly, yeah,
They complement each other.
Yeah, true.
So essentially you're saying I just need to go and spend more money.
If you can, yeah. You can.
We can figure that out.
Yeah.
It is a great motivator.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It is. It could be something
I'm
very
not
small, but
well, yeah, I'm not buying
new shirt.
clothes because I don't want them. I'm just buying it because it's going to help me.
because I said so.
Stick.
Or a new pair of socks. Start small.
Hell yeah.
Socks.
I bought socks today. Compression socks.
Good running
LSPD socks. Gun. Toe socks.
Toe socks.
Toe socks.
Trust me, if you got big flat feet like me, toe socks need.
Yeah.
Practicality standpoint, get it.
Rainbow.
Vibe, not it.
Well, guess what? I don't care what people think. Also,
Well, you don't see them. Technically, you don't see 'em.
True. True.
And like blisters aren't it either. Blisters suck. So
no.
you know what?
still got them after that.
Did you off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because we were running too fast for your shoes, though. That was nothing to do with the socks.
Right, boys. 2 and 2. We're going 2 facts. Do you want me to start off?
Fire away.
Talking about when we're training in the gym, emphasizing the negative or eccentric part on movements and slowing them down a little bit. Now, this is very specific to more hypertrophy strength style training, not so much Olympic lifting power. But too often, I think we see all the time in the gym when people are going into a movement. So say, for example, if you're thinking about a bench press or a back squat, so the descending phase or the lowering of the bar, people will typically drop really, really quick into it or drop the bar really quick. And then they almost catch themselves at the bottom and then they have to work really, really hard to get themselves back on the way up into the concentric. So from a muscle growth standpoint, constant research always comes out essentially favoring that eccentric part or how important that eccentric part is and controlling the eccentric or the lowering part. So if you think of the muscle actually lengthening. So our tip today for more muscle growth, for strength, is to slow down your movements, particularly that lowering part. Almost think of reversing those roles. So as opposed to going fast on the way down and then slow on the way up, try and think of going slow on the way down and fast on the way up. So every time you go into that rep, be intentional with the way up. But if you start slowing down your reps, I guarantee you'll get a lot more control out of the movement, which control will lead to a lot more muscle growth and strength too.
Yeah, we're actually breaking down those muscles more so in that eccentric portion. So if you're trying to build muscle, it makes sense to slow it down a little bit more. Yeah, and that could just be like 2 seconds. 2 seconds on the way down, rip it back on the way up. You take us number 2.
Tip number 2, I'm getting all the glory. Let's go.
Double or nothing.
All right, tip number 2. We can talk about this a little bit more because a lot of us at the moment are doing multiple or training multiple fitness qualities, I should say, or in fitness components. So a lot of us are running, we're doing strength work, we're doing Olympic lifting, whatever it is. So our tip number 2 is general prep is really good and it's really important. So general prep being like a general phase, being very broad, volume might be a little bit higher, it's not very specific. But specializing is the key to true progress. So, for example, what we're talking about now, Adam's working up to something very exciting in revolving around running. In terms of Adam being able to do that, he has to start specializing in running itself and dedicate more of his time and effort towards that. So yes, he can still do his strength portion or his lifting portion, but his running becomes more specific, and that becomes the target in terms of what he's focusing on. If you just stay in like a general phase too much, then you can get good at multiple things or pretty good at it. But if you actually really want to take it to the next level and get better at something, you do have to specialize in it. So divide and conquer is always going to be the best way to approach that. Personally, I still like phases of maintenance or general prep phases where you build like a solid base where you might be running and you might be lifting. But if you're wanting to get better at one specifically, you do have to specialize in it.
Yeah, we get good at what we consistently do.
Sí, correcto.
Like we're giving our body a chance to adapt to that specific stimulus. So the chance of Adam running 100 Ks without integrating progressive run work into his program is pretty fucking slim, but he's a bit of an athlete, so he'd probably get away with it. Do my best.
But we even spoke about the other day in terms of you get to a point where you have to inevitably start cutting back some of your weight sessions to make sure you're fresh and not overly fatigued enough for your runs, which that's where the specialization part comes into it, because you can't just keep doing the best of both and expect to get there. It just won't work.
Yeah, and then having that structure too of like, if you feel good, great. Even if it is your rest day, that's what your rest day is for. So then you can go better the next day. And there's things like that in plan and structure. Yes, on the rest day, you might feel pretty good. I could probably go do a weight session or something like that. But because it's not really specialized to what I need to do with the running sides of things, there's other things that could probably be in place instead of that, and that'll just carry on to a lot of other things too. Obviously having a background in CrossFit, for me, that's what CrossFit is to me, is just getting pretty good at everything. Yep. But you'll notice as you get to that elite level, they'll take blocks. You'll go and train full strength cycles for 6 weeks, and then they'll go full conditioning, full gymnastics, and then you circle back and just touch on little things. And I think that's probably the best way as a whole to be hybrid athlete, CrossFit athlete, really, in general. That's the way things need to be looked at. Spread it all out, break it down. What do you want to work on? And then you can just fine tune things from there.
100%. And that's the thing too, is you don't, by saying that you have to specialize in one doesn't mean you entirely have to stop the other one.
You still have to enjoy your training.
You still have to enjoy your training. And a lot of times when you see things like that with CrossFit, for example, even you see professional athletes like rugby players, like they can't specialize in a strength block and then just not run at all because their sport involves running. So
absolutely,
when we talk about specialization phase, it means specifically focusing on more intensity or more direct volume to that specific fitness component, whilst the others being put on, the smallest maintenance period possible to ensure they stick around. So you focus on different fitness qualities that you want to build up whilst maintaining the other ones. And then, like you said, you can rotate through them, or depending where you are in a season or what you're working towards. So specialization doesn't mean elimination per se of fitness qualities, but it just means manipulating the volume and where that volume has to go to. Volume, intensity, all the rest.
Just prioritizing,
exactly right. And if you want to get better at something specifically, or you're leaning towards doing an event, you have to have that specialization period if you want to do really well in it.
Practice makes progress, and the more you practice on one specific thing, you're going to make more progress in that area. Doesn't mean that the other areas aren't going to make progress, because you're still practicing them, but just from a different level.
So
and
true.
I think just being aware of that and actually accepting that too is something that I've personally had to do a lot, because it's like, let's go max out, but then I've also got to run 30 Ks. I know what's going to be detrimental to the other.
But you could.
I could if I just roll one sleeve up.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, up at the booty,
roll the booty sleeves.
Full send. No, look, and you definitely could probably do that. It's like these guys, you see them, they run marathons and then go do 500 kilo total. Like, what is that? What are you training? How do you train to that? Do you specify one thing and then move to the other, or are they actually going, these are my goals, I've got to squat, deadlift and press, but I'm also going to run marathon at the same time? That's kind of a different element altogether. But I guess long story short, that's kind of what they would have to be doing.
Yeah, they're freaks.
Yeah.
I'm not hybrid at all.
I was always thinking that. I was like, oh, it's cool, I can run and lift some weights, but it's like, some people do some crazy shit.
Fergus Crawley, bro. Eat your heart out. That guy is a freak of nature.
But if you don't know how to structure or periodize your training, get a coach. It's the easiest way to ensure that you're going to get the results that you actually want but you still need to commit to the process.
When it comes to combining multiple fitness modalities together, coaching becomes even more important because that's one of the biggest roles of a coach, is ensuring that you're getting enough rest between sessions, they're not interfering with each other too much, you're specializing in one that you need to, you're doing the appropriate volume. That becomes paramount. Following a program for anything is just the smartest thing that you could do for long-term progression. But as soon as you start implementing multiple fitness modalities, it becomes even more important, because that's where people gas out.
Yeah.
They try and do all of it all at the same time and try and build everything up at the same time. And they fall to bits because they're not Adam Ralph.
Yeah.
But I think like actually on that too, like with getting a coach too, it'd be easy for us three to just sit here and go, pick me, but find one that is suited to your modality.
Yeah.
You know, there's been times that we've all worked in together. Like, I know what I know, but you know what you know, and you just pass the buck if you can or if you need to, but also don't just go to someone because you think that it's right. Like, make sure you do your research
100%.
and understand what you're actually getting into. So again, you're not that person that is going, I want to do this, and then changing it straight away because maybe your coach isn't right for you. You know, make sure that you are suited for that sort of thing, and it's going to give you that accountability because yes, you get along with each other as well as you actually get in the program, and it makes you want to follow it, you know. And there's things like that I feel like it's probably like a small motivator in a way too. You don't want to let your coach down because you do have that relationship, and that's the kind of thing that I guess us three try and really promote too, is having a good relationship with your athletes. And that's something that's very important to us.
Yeah, and if you're following us and we don't meet the needs of what you're looking for, still give us a yell, because we know so many people, especially on the coast, obviously online coaches as well, that could be from anywhere if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
We can put you in touch.
That's it.
100%, man.
That's it. We all in this together.
We like this together.
This together.
That's a
Really started talking.
I watched that the other night.
Well, High School Musical. Did ya?
Right, you're in
What night?
movies at the moment.
I love movies.
Did that just like, did you think of it and you're just like, I'm just going to put that on?
No, Tay was like, let's watch High School Musical, and I was like, yes,
Solid.
let's do that. It was good.
I reckon any road trip Molly and I go on, we always listen to either High School Musical soundtrack or Camp Rock. Camp Rock gets a mention in there.
Funny you bring that up. We started watching Camp Rock and we got like 25 minutes in, and it was just, I remember watching it when I was young, and I didn't think the acting was that shit.
Don't say shit.
It's really bad.
It's really shit.
It's really, really bad. Like,
Talking about Jonas Brothers, brother.
yeah, no, but even Demi Lovato, like, really bad.
Yeah.
But she's a really good singer, and Camp Rock's really good.
She's a really good singer. So we put High School Musical on instead.
Yeah. Otherwise, it didn't.
I have to reason, because
What's Camp Rock in comparison? Are they different things, or are they just...
They're both like musical-based kids shows.
musical-based shows?
for us, for adults.
Yeah.
Adolescent shows for education.
I prefer the songs in Camp Rock.
Yeah,
But it's Camp Rock like High School Musical.
Rock. That's
me.
That's it.
You've got heard all these songs.
Yeah.
You got it all, bro.
Oh, God, I feel sick.
I want to watch that now.
Wrap it up.
You got it, mate. You're on today.
All right, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Hybrid Life podcast. Thank you, Adam, for being here. Thank you, Jaden, for being here.
Thanks, mate.
To the listener, thank you for listening to us for the last 29 minutes.
Until next time, huh?
Until next time.
Adios.
Send and bring up.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Good one.
For your history with
Juan.